doing. And it's just so great to see a mixture of people from Whitehall area in there, older, younger, different diverse populations. And gosh, even the parking lot, I was backing out and I thought, these stalls are just right. And but I learned my lesson. I will ask questions, please. The one I'm wondering about the guest passes, because I thought I heard that you could purchase them at the swimming pool. But when I inquired, someone said to go online. And I just wondered if you could do it at the pool or even at the office here, rather than go online.
You can do online or in the office.
In the office during business hours.
Yes, Hannah or Alyssa can help you with that.
Oh,
if
great.
you want to stop in person, or it's available online through the link.
Great.
If they're in the office, do they have to be cash?
Cash or check if you're in
Or
the
you
office.
You could do credit card. Alyssa and I both know how to do that as well.
Okay, great, thanks, good to know. And the other question is, I just want to confirm, being that it's August, if you don't use all the guest passes, they will roll over to the following year
Correct, yes.
or years?
Yes, they're attached to your pool profile in the system.
Oh, my
So, yes.
Okay, great. Well, thanks very much.
Thank you for your comments.
Steve?
It's Steve Gerson, 4750 on Clareton Boulevard. I know I've been very critical with the way that the pool situation has been handled, but I did want to congratulate the staff and, everybody from the municipality on doing a, great job as far as the, end product of the swimming pool, goes. And at the last meeting I was here, I had asked a couple questions, and but no one got back to me on those, couple questions. I wasn't sure if I needed to repeat those.
No, so I
Okay.
believe Mr. Russell was going to address that under his report, and then you asked me specifically about the amount of legal fees,
Yes.
and that totaled about $3,000 as of the most recent billing we received.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comments, both of you. Appreciate those comments about the pool. We'll move on to bills and payroll, the most fascinating part of the meeting.
Yeah.
Ms. Wertz, please.
Administrative Services, Mr. Nagy.
In order.
Planning and Zoning, Ms. Book.
In order.
Public Safety, Mr. Nagy.
In order.
Public Works, Mr. Lar.
In order.
Recreation, Ms. Book.
In order.
Storm Sewer Fund, Mr. Lar.
That is in order as well.
Sanitary Sewer Fund, Mr. Lar.
That too is in order.
Capital Projects Fund, Mr. Nagy.
In order.
And Local Fiscal Recovery Fund, Mr. Nagy.
In order.
I'd ask for a motion to approve the bills on the bill list dated August 2nd, 2023, in the amount of $62,723.20 from the general fund, $29,630.30 from the storm sewer fund, $22,859.05 from the sanitary sewer fund, $113,575.40 from the capital projects fund, and $20,929.38 from the local fiscal recovery fund.
Second, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I'd also ask for a motion to ratify checks and transfers from the general fund totaling $38,358.08, and from the payroll fund totaling $56,103.95, for a grand total of ratification in the amount of $94,462.03.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I'd also ask for a motion to approve payroll for the pay date of July 28th, 2023, in the amount of $190,199.01.
So moved.
Second. Any questions? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And there is an overtime list attached.
We will move on to the approval of the minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes
I make a motion. Go ahead.
or any changes?
I make a motion that we accept the, minutes for, what was it?
July 19th.
19th. July the 19th.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The mayor is not here. He had intended to have a resolution honoring Ron Yossi. Did you have it?
I do. I also have a report from the chief that I'd like to read first before I make the motion on the resolution. So for the July monthly report, for 2023, the EMS assists for 171, the court hearing pretrial 66, accidents 14, criminal arrests 15, traffic stops 103, traffic details 49, traffic violation citations 71, and traffic violation warnings 85. Monies collected and turned over to the borough during July of 2023 totaled $2,403.59. Additionally, Chief Gaboric and Deputy Chief Gable attended the PA Chiefs of Police Conference in the Poconos on July 23rd through the 26th. Juvenile Officer Smith attended the Pennsylvania School Resource Officer Conference in Hershey, PA on July 24th, 25th, and 26th. Chief Gaboric plans to meet with the Public Works Department to standardize markings for crosswalks. It's leaking season for line painting, so this may not occur until 2024. And lastly, it's anticipated that Officer Joseph Lacko will return from extended military service sometime in September. His military orders are set to expire on September 30th. And then there's also a motion, ask for a motion to place a resolution honoring Ron Yossi and his service doing business as Cassie Village Automotive down at Cassie Village. I'd like to place that on public display. Mr. Yossi and his family will be in attendance at the August 16th meeting to receive this and also a plaque from the police department.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Please put that on display. Thank you.
I thought it was nice of the Cassidy's to put that sign up down
A
there
nice
too,
banner.
honoring them, thanking them.
That is all I have.
Okay, move on to our solicitor, Mr. Furman.
Thank you. I don't have a report this evening, however, I would request an executive session to discuss items of personnel, collective bargaining.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to the engineer, and I know you have a report.
Thank you, Madam President. I do have a report this evening dated July 28th. Call your attention to item 2 under the operation and maintenance plan. Under the 2022 CCTV inspection contract, Roto-Rooter Services did submit a pay application for work done this last month. We have reviewed that and recommend payment. The recommended motion is to approve pay application 5 in the amount of $11,744.45 for the Whitehall Borough 2022 CCTV inspection contract to Roto-Rooter Service Company.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Also, action needed under the 2022 sanitary sewer excavation repair contract. Roto-Rooter did submit a 9th pay application for work complete this month. So the recommended motion is to approve pay application number 9 in the amount of $20,995.00 for the 2022 Whitehall Borough sanitary sewer excavation repair contract to Roto-Rooter Service Company.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay. 3 bids were received on July 27th, 2023 for the Whitehall Borough 2023 CCTV inspection contract. Roto-Rooter Service Company was the lowest qualified responsible bidder with a total bid price of $124,265.00.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
On page 2, item 4, Overlook Park. Just to make council aware, we did have a pre-bid meeting on July 26th. A total of 11 contractors attended that meeting. Yes. So things look promising. The bid opening will occur next Wednesday, August the 9th. So we'll see how it goes. So we are getting questions for clarifications and so on. So it seems promising. People are looking at it
We only had one bid the last time.
in the spring. Yes.
Yeah. So we have 11 people interested. So positive.
Okay, under pool construction. So the pool's obviously it's open. The Nicholson representatives as well as laborers were back on site today addressing punch list items. Merit Electrical Group submitted their 14th pay application. We reviewed the pay application and recommended its payment. The recommended motion is to approve pay application 14 in the amount of $25,564.26 for the Whitehall Pool Improvement Contract number 2, the electrical construction to Merit Electrical Group Incorporated.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Opposed? Motion passes.
on page 4, top of page 4, First American Industries, the plumber, submitted their 8th pay application and request for change orders for the interior gas line replacement, the water fountain replacement, and the installation or instantaneous hot water heaters. We reviewed the applications and change order requests and recommend payment contingent upon receiving required documentation. So the recommended motion is to approve pay application 8 in the amount of $40,271.08 for the Whitehall Pool Improvement Contract number 3, plumbing construction to First American Industries Incorporated. Payment contingent upon receiving requirement documentation.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any questions?
And these are change orders.
There are 3 change orders.
Can I, before I vote on this, can I see them? Like what actually they did?
Sure. The first thing that they did was the interior gas line failed during the inspection, and it was removed and replaced. That's First American right here.
Well, if the gas line failed, whose fault was that?
We failed the pressure test. It's an existing gas line. It wasn't anything that was in part of the contract.
The stall was it was old.
It was old.
The other part of it, Stone, was the water fountain on the front of the building was inoperable, and that was replaced. And finally, the hot water heaters. One was, I believe, 10 years old. The other one was 7 years old. And during the existing hot water tanks, and during the health department inspection, they asked for expansion tanks to be added to those existing hot water heaters. And in lieu of placing or putting monies into tanks that were that old, we installed the instantaneous.
So this was on the health department's request, not something that somebody messed up or anything
No.
like that.
No, it's just the health department. It's a plumbing inspection. I need to back those original ones.
I have a copy of the convenience, please.
Sure.
Any other questions? All in favor of the recommendation, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 15, campus, I'm sorry, to answer your question from last week. We broke it down two different ways. One was project related, and the other was additional add-ons that we did during the course of the project. The project related items, that was for the rock excavation, the change orders that we just spoke about, the plumbing inside the pool house, that totaled $89,553, or 1.5% of the total contract amount. Other items, such as the furnishing in the locker room that was added after the contract, the security cameras, the Verizon communication line, and I think the flooring upgrade. That totaled $82,344, or 1.4%. So total change orders, some of which have been added, and these are ones that we know of, but they're still pending. We're still waiting on information and supporting documents. So all in, it looks like it's going to finish up at 2.9%, worst case scenario. Under item 15 on page 4, the campus rail improvements, Independence Enterprises Incorporated submitted payment application number 3 and the final. We reviewed the application and the project closeout documents and recommend payment. The recommended motion is to approve pay application number 3 and final in the amount of $10,238.75 for the campus railing and improvements to Independent Enterprises Incorporated.
Yes, so moved.
Second? Been moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. It's nice to go up and down the railings without leaving skin on them.
Yes. Motion passes.
Final item is on number 18, the Route 51 Dragger Pump. First American Industry submitted pay application number 2 and final. We reviewed that application to close out documents and recommend payment. The recommended motion is to approve payment application number 2 and final in the amount of $1,870.00 for the grinder pump installation project of First American Industries Incorporated.
So moved.
Second? Any questions? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
That's all I have, Madam President. If you have any questions, I'm happy to address them.
I have no questions. Anybody else?
You've done good.
Very good. Thank you. We'll move on to our manager's report.
Thank you, Mrs. McHugh. The first item in my report is in regards to implementing credit card payments. The Borough Solicitor has reviewed those contracts for implementing credit card payments and online payments. Staff is prepared to implement this as early as the fourth quarter, if council wishes. The initial startup costs will total $99, and then the annual fixed costs total about $2,300. So for just the fourth quarter of this year, it would be an estimated $672 from the fund balance, if council wishes to implement this. So I have a motion to authorize staff to implement credit card payments.
So moved.
I'm, go ahead. No, I'm here. Fine, you're making the motion.
Yes, you did. Oh, yes, you did. Is there a second?
I'll make a second.
Anybody have any questions about this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Next up is in regards to the municipal key policy. As part of the ongoing policy and procedures update, the municipal key policy was updated. I did speak with Mrs. McHugh earlier this week, and she did have one correction from the sheet that's in front of you, and it was in regards to under part-time employees, the second bullet point should read summer camp counselors and the assistant recreation director would be issued keys to the parks as determined by the borough manager. So with that edit, I asked council to adopt the municipal key policy.
So moved.
Second? It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor of key policy, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Next up, the Whitehall Public Library approached me about applying for a Pittsburgh Foundation Wish Book Grant to purchase 5 little libraries. This would be similar to the little library that was donated by a resident and it was installed at Union Park late last year. The library would be responsible for the maintenance, upkeep of everything should the grant be successful. And the caveat would be that the Public Works and myself and Hannah would determine the location of said
That's what I was gonna ask.
little libraries. So right now, they're asking for permission to apply for this grant. So that's the motion for you this evening to authorize Paula Kelly and the Whitehall Public Library to apply for this Pittsburgh Foundation Wish Book Grant.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
I was also recently approached by Brentwood Borough's manager. They are interested in entering into an intergovernmental agreement to allow Brentwood to piggyback off of our Sawmill Run stream restoration project behind Public Works here. They need about 25 feet of stream bank restoration to meet their own PRP agreements, requirements. If this is something that council is interested in partnering with, I would need authorization from myself, the borough engineer, and the borough solicitor to draft an agreement once the details are hammered out.
So moved.
Second.
Courtney, we've done something like this before, right?
Not in my time, but previously, yes,
Do
we
we
have
have
worked
an
with
agreement with Baldwin for something similar on Sawmill Run?
you can refer to the consent order.
Okay.
When you said that predates me by a little bit, but you're not completely incorrect.
Okay.
The motion
There's
is
a motion and a
And
second.
before you, just so everybody's aware, right, my law partner Gavin Robb is the solicitor for Redwood, so I think we have to evaluate whether there's a conflict there or it's something that we can, if it's really just language or something, so I'll report back. I don't know anything about this except what I just heard just now, so I just wanted to raise that.
Okay, should the motion be delayed until next week,
No.
or next meeting, or?
I mean, if for some reason, no, I think you should move, if your council wants to move forward, you shouldn't hold up on my end, but if it turns out that as borough solicitor, we couldn't do it, or we needed to get a waiver, then you should have a solicitor, apply, to get a conflict counsel to review it, but I'm not sure if that's the case or not, because I don't know what's going on. But you can move forward with it, but again, if it turns out that it's an adverse, or there's some issue where,
We could correct that.
then we have to adjust that.
Okay, there is a motion and a second. Anybody else have a question about that? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Next up, I have a draft resolution. Allegheny County is required to qualify every 3 years as an urban county in order to receive community development block grant and home funds from HUD. Municipalities must opt in or out via resolution. And the next 3-year cycle is for program years 24, 25, and 26. If a municipality opts out, the county's federal allocations will be reduced and residents in the community will be ineligible for certain assistance programs. Therefore, I recommend the council put the attached resolution on public display for 2 weeks. Consider for adoption on the 16th.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Would there be any benefits to the borough in opting out that we know of?
No, it's simply more or less to, it would open up some programs for our residents.
If we're in it.
Yes, if we're in it. If we're not, it denies them the opportunity to use those programs.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And then lastly, just following up from the last meeting, Mrs. Bauer and myself did meet with representatives from Congresswoman Lee's office on the 25th. We're working to bring them to Community Day and potentially sponsor a senior bingo in the future. We were able to facilitate an introduction with Paula Kelly at the library, who was in turn able to connect them with ECAP. So they're very excited about potential partnerships there. I also spoke with them about the Whitehall Fire Company's FEMA grants for their SCBA's, and they have indicated that should they apply in the future, they will absolutely write a letter of support for that grant.
You want a motion for that?
No, just following up.
Just a motion.
And that is all that I have, Madam President.
All right.
Any questions of our manager? Okay, we'll move on then to committee reports, administrative services, Mr. Nagy.
I don't have anything for administrative. I think we'll have something with Mr. McConnell's report that Courtney's gonna do.
Yes.
Okay, planning and zoning. Stone or Linda, do you have any?
No, I don't.
Library?
Nothing to report.
Nothing to report. Wow. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Public Works, Mr. Lar?
Well, is it okay for sale right now? All information on what they did from one meeting to the next. You see, it's quite a bit. They're constantly busy. They're deciding and creating things using old material. You should see the signs around this borough building, how beautiful they are, and they're very capable people. Most of them work in construction or own their own businesses. That's why they came here. So I would say, we'll give them a big, big A for hard work. Glenn knows what it's like, he works on it when he's a bit of a child. So let's give them thanks and keep supporting them.
The roads were all dirt back then.
What's that?
They were all dirt.
Oh, yeah, they were right there, or Red Dog. Yeah,
Are there
Red
any
Road
other
was
questions
Red Dog
about
when I
Public
remember.
Works? I'm gonna move on to public safety. Ms. Ward, do you have a report?
Not a report, but there is a resolution that has been on public display since last month. So I've asked that council adopt resolution amending the general fee schedule to include fees for the fees charged by the Whitehall Borough Police Department for processing Act 22 of 2017 and Act 134 of 2022 requests.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Roll call motion?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Excuse me, so to clarify, the motion before you is to read it in summary form.
Okay. All in favor of reading it in summary form, say aye. Opposed, please read.
A resolution of the Borough of Whitehall, County of Allegheny, and Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending the general fee schedule for the Borough of Whitehall to include fees charged by the Whitehall Borough Police Department for processing to Act 22 of 2017 and Act 134 of 2022 requests. So we need a motion to adopt resolution number 1019.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Buck?
Yes.
Mrs. Depew?
Yes.
Mr. Lar?
Yes.
Mr. Nagy?
Yes.
Mr. Sobrowski? Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Anything else under public safety, Chief?
Uneventful month.
I like them that one.
So do I.
You know what, while we're talking, we get an update on Wayman, Provost, what all's going on, because I know they put some signs up down on South Passage. One of them's about 13 feet high, and my neighbor whose front yard, they stuck it in, and it's kind of leaning on it, looks like hell. He said, is there anything you can do about that? And I said, well, I doubt it. He said, why don't we put that in the cat lady's yard? I said, well, I think it's on the wrong side of the street for one thing, but they just recently put those signs up. So are they going to be moving along Wayman Road closer to Castle Village? You never know what's going on down there. Like you get down to
Replacing the bridge.
McRoberts.
Right.
And sometimes it's open down to the gas station. Sometimes it's not. And they were working down there.
Well, the
They
bridge
were
is-
working right where they came under the creek.
Well, I can say that both, actually it was 3 sets of contractors, between 2 sets on Provost and now 1 on Wayman. Neither one of them have really communicated with the borough. Tuesday, we had an idea that Provost was going to open. They were supposed to finish paving Monday, so on my way
You
in,
mean Provost all the way down to Stewart?
yes. So Monday on my way in, I'm not Baptist, and I'm heading down Wayman to go check on Provost, and as soon as I come down to the storage facility, I figure out that Wayman's closed because of the bridge project.
Right.
So I talked to the foreman about uncovering all the signs and putting better signage up. And I went the whole way around and come down Provost and found that you can go the full way down to 51 now. However, they're still doing some touch-up work, and they didn't finish paving all the way up past the Fairhaven Club. So I think there's going to be some lane restrictions every now and again as they finish that work. And I'm not convinced that they're going to pave the rest of Provost until Wayman is done, because something tells me that Wayman project is going to, the pavement or the asphalt is going to butt up against Provost. So I'm going to send an email to the contractors and see if they can give us a little bit of information.
And the bridge, if you don't know where the bridge is, it's right next to the gasoline station on the corner. It's off to the, if you're looking in front of the gas station, it's off to the right side, right behind it. There's a bridge right there that allows the creek that comes from the other side of the rental areas. And it comes under that and it goes down 51 on the left side.
We recognize
and across the street.
We recognize the frustration to the community and the residents. It's not us. They don't always pass along information. And the foreman and I had a very unpleasant conversation Tuesday morning when I couldn't get to where I wanted to go. And then I figured out they didn't even tell the fire department up the road that they couldn't come down that way. And plus the 2 Port Authority buses that I had to help back out of there because nobody notified them. So we're doing our best to keep everybody informed, but understand we can only work at the speed that they give us information.
Who sent someone sent me an email, said it was open. Provost was open, Provost was open.
We put a Facebook message out, the newsletter come out. I don't know if it was in the newsletter, but the borough itself, or the police department did not send any emails out about that.
I didn't think so.
Okay, thank you.
Well, keep up on that there, good chief.
I would.
We'll move on to recreation.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll call on Hannah. You have a report?
I do. Alrighty, the pool opening was a huge success. We've heard a lot of positive feedback. The new water features are providing very popular. The lap lanes and reservation systems have been utilized, and the new concession stand is very busy. We did post their hours and everything like that today as well. We're averaging about 408 people a day. Our highest day to date is 640 people. We cap.
That's great.
We have capacity at 702, so we're getting up there. We have welcomed 4,200 people since pool opening through that pool, which has been great. Summer camp wrapped up last Friday with a water day at the pool, which was amazing. You should have saw all the kids there. It was great. So I move on to my next thing, which my next focus is Community Day, which is August 12th and the 13th. We increased participation by 46 booths, so that's double of what we've had in the past. Our new sponsorship structure is netting at 2,200, which has tripled in the past, since the past, and our structure is low now, so that is a big increase. A mailer was delivered to every resident this week, and council has a copy of the mailers on their desk. They were also sent to all the nursing homes, live-in facilities, and apartment complexes around. And an email blast will be sent out to district families on August 9th to make sure everybody gets the communication. Some new activities that we're looking forward to is the Family 1 Mile, the free inflatables, carnival games, axe throwing, food trucks, and additional adult beverages. Fundraising for Officer Slegansky's Memorial Foundation or Memorial Scholarship, funded by Pi the police officer, which I know the chief is super excited about. Unfortunately, the Whitehall Fire Company cannot commit to dump a firefighter, so that had to be canceled. So I did that this week, unfortunately. New performers are BCAP, Iceman Reptile Show, and the Premier Martial Arts. The Baldwin Band is back, and so is the Dance Workshop. Both are performing in Brennan Plaza. Funhouse Band is to close out the night from 4 to 6. And then another thing about Community Day, your yard signs will be available tomorrow. They will be dropped off for everybody's homes that signed up. And lastly, pickleball is on Sunday. We're filling up very quickly, and we are quickly outgrowing Snyder Park for our pickleball tournament.
How are we doing on the tables, umbrellas, seats?
Those will probably come next year. So those initially took about 18 weeks to get. So even if we order today, we will not get them in
You
time.
can just buy them simple things, they can't buy them.
Bill, I don't think
I think a lot of people are really liking bringing their own
People having
stuff.
up there a lot.
people are bringing their own tables and chairs there. Ellen and I have been up there watching them.
Well, the people who talk to me up there think we need it badly. It's one of the,
And I believe they'll come.
Next year.
Any other questions, comments?
Thank you very much
You're welcome.
for all your hard work and everyone on the staff. Thank you. Any questions about recreation? Okay, I have nothing to report on the parks at this time, so we'll move on to delegate reports. ACDA, no PSAB.
Okay, thank you. The Allegheny County Boroughs Association and Allegheny League of Municipalities are intertwined. And then, is it October, will be up in Erie, the annual fall session for conferences for boroughs and townships. And I know a couple of council members attend that. It's the same month. The week prior to that, I'll be up in Erie for a Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs as our trustee and board meeting with the general membership. So I'll be up there the week prior to that, working on our new legislation. That being said, first of all, the PSAB, or Borough News, we had, I know Courtney and Alyssa and the mayor put together some information, and it appeared for our 75th anniversary of our Whitehall Borough. So it was in the state magazine in August, so thank you everybody for doing that. And yeah, you know what, can we put this on our website?
I'm working on getting permission from PSAB to do that.
Yeah,
it's
thank
got
you.
permission.
And also, right now, the Pennsylvania legislature is in recess. And September, they'll be back in session. On September 26th is the House. But in the meantime, the final resolutions, there's quite a few. We do, this is the biggest thing that PSAD does for our constituents. And there's some final resolutions involving the, one is to amend the insurance company law by repealing Act 84 of 2015 and require insurance carriers to reimburse ambulance companies directly for 911 emergency medical services provided, regardless of whether EMS agency is part of the insurance carrier's network. So,
Well-
I know this has been going on for quite, almost the entire time I've been on council.
Yeah, that's a long time. And, I know that being on that board for 17 years or longer, that at this point in time, if someone in the higher levels of government doesn't support it in some way, or Allegheny or whoever, that the residents did better, or you're not gonna have it. I remember one thing in Harold Tobin, who's now gone, said, I don't care what it costs, as long as I have one in front of my door when it's needed. And if you don't think that way, it's a sad day for all of us. And if we have to add a tax, those of you who are new, an ambulance tax, it's not a big one. You better not even think of taking your oath and obligation, because that is going to be a sad day.
Well, there's a
Like
real
fi-
crisis here.
It's like the fire service. Because they need to have a tax to support them totally without this borough having to support them all the time. So people have to learn, and I'm saying this as I leave, that it's so important. There's two things in this borough that need constant help. And if you think you worry about a tax increase, don't. We haven't had one in 20 years, and then we didn't have one for 24 years. This council never had a tax increase. Small little nicks to different things. But we almost remember that ambulance service saved lives and souls. I know my dear late wife used it a lot, and a lot of other people. When you come in and MRSA comes into your area, into your house, you have the best of the best of the best. There's two major ones in Allegheny County, MRSA and the city of Pittsburgh. They're rated that way by hospitals and the medical industry. So pass it on, those of you who are going to be new. You have to start supporting that stuff, big time. If you don't, then you fail. It's that simple. I don't know how else to say it.
Thanks, Phil. Also, this is, what I'm reading here, these final resolutions, I won't read a lot of them, but this is the important aspect that we do. And PSAB in the general annual meeting in June, the membership votes on the proposed resolutions to send to Harrisburg with our PSAB lobbyists. So in September, next month, when they open up in the legislature, we're going to be up there also working on this, besides the one I just read about with the 911 emergency medical services. The PSAB seeks legislation, among other remedies, the removal of advertising in the newspaper of general circulation requirements for the PA Borough Code. That advertising be permitted electronically or in a database administered by the Commonwealth, which would levy a nominal fee. Because it's ridiculous. As we all know, there's no newspapers out there anymore, and they still have the language that we have to comply with that. So we're finally getting to this point. So PSAB has helped move that along. So that's all I have for now.
Okay, thank you. Chamber of Commerce, Don, do you have anything since Bob's not here?
No, I have nothing to.
Okay, Phil, I think you already gave the HRSA report.
I most certainly did. That's as close as it
Okay,
is.
does anyone have a report on Jacob? Other than-
Oh, you went to the meeting.
Yeah, the manager's meeting next lunch, or, I'm sorry, next luncheon next week.
Okay, thank you for going to those. Any new business to come before council?
Oh, I have one thing.
I was gonna try and break my record.
Well, I won't keep you. We closed the meeting one night in honor of the Casty Village Service Station. This isn't quite as foreboding or probably as important, but it's nostalgic. Schneider's Dairy little store closed on Saturday.
Thank you.
I think I got the last bottle of chocolate milk for my grandchildren. There wasn't much left when we got there, but yeah, sad to see that close. Anybody that to spend time at Frank Field, and I certainly did when I worked for the road crew. That's, you probably spent an hour a day over there just getting cold drinks and popsicles. So it's sad to see that go.
Yeah.
But the dairy's still there, and my understanding is they're going to use that space to expand it. So that's good. That's all I had.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
You want to adjourn to executive session?
Oh, adjourn.
You have to announce, you adjourn, yes, but you have to announce the executive session.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second that we adjourn for the executive session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you all for coming. Hope you learned something. We'll keep trying. Thank you.
Good.